Jimin's panic and Jungkook's struggle. The untold story behind his return from New York. What really happened when Jungkook landed back in Korea after his trip to New York? Why did Jimin appear so panicked, as if he had witnessed something no one else was supposed to see? And what shocking truth lies behind Jungkook's weakened health after attending the Calvin Klein event, an event that was supposed to mark a glamorous moment in his career, but instead left fans trembling with worry? The questions are endless, the clues are scattered, and the emotions are impossible to hide. The sight of Jungkook, usually full of energy, charm, and unstoppable charisma, returning home in a visibly weakened condition sent shockwaves across the BTS fandom. But what caught the world off guard even more was the way Jimin reacted, his panic visible to everyone, almost as though he feared something far worse was looming. Could this moment be a warning sign of the toll fame is taking on Jungkook's health? Or is there a deeper story that has not yet been told? It all began in New York, under the dazzling lights of the Calvin Klein event. Fans across the globe were left speechless by Jungkook's appearance. His flawless visuals, his aura, and his commanding presence stole the spotlight instantly. Cameras flashed, reporters scrambled, and social media exploded with praises. Yet, behind the glamour of that night, whispers began to surface. Observant fans noticed Jungkook looked slightly pale, his smile not as bright as usual, his posture a little heavier. Some wondered if it was just exhaustion from traveling, while others dismissed it as stress from his busy schedule. But those who know Jungkook best, especially his fellow members, sensed that something wasn't right. When he boarded the flight back to Korea, Jungkook carried more than just memories of a successful international event. He carried fatigue that ran deeper than what the cameras could capture, and the shadows of exhaustion that fame often hides behind a smile. The truth came crashing down when he finally returned home, stepping into an airport that was filled with flashing lights, fans screaming his name, and reporters eager for every detail. The cameras caught a glimpse of his weakened state, and within seconds, the news began to spread like wildfire. Jungkook was not well, but it was Jimin's reaction that amplified the fears of millions. The moment Jimin saw Jungkook, his expression changed instantly. Panic, concern, a rush of emotions that even he couldn't hide from the cameras. He reached out, almost instinctively, as if afraid Jungkook might collapse at any moment. His voice, though not caught clearly by the microphones, seemed urgent. Fans watching the clips online replayed the moment again and again, analyzing every detail. Why did Jimin look so terrified? What did he notice about Jungkook that others couldn't? This was no ordinary reunion. This was a scene that sparked a storm of speculation. Was Jungkook hiding a serious health issue? Did the Calvin Klein event push him too far physically? And why did Jimin, who has always been protective of his younger brother-like member, react with such visible panic? The answers are not simple. To understand, we must look deeper, not just at the night of the Calvin Klein event, but at the months leading up to it, the sacrifices made, the sleepless nights endured, and the emotional weight carried silently by BTS members as they balanced their artistry, fame, and humanity. Behind the polished image of Jungkook at Calvin Klein stood a young man who has been pushing his limits for years. His passion for perfection is no secret. His drive to give his best in every performance, every appearance, and every collaboration is unmatched. But what happens when that drive comes at the cost of health? Fans have long admired Jungkook's dedication, but dedication has its breaking point. The Calvin Klein event was supposed to be a celebration, a global stage that showcased Jungkook not just as an idol, but as a cultural icon. Yet, as the night unfolded, those close to him noticed small but telling signs: a tired glance, a hand pressed subtly against his temple, a faint moment of imbalance when he thought no one was watching. For most attendees, it went unnoticed, hidden beneath the blinding lights and flashing cameras. But for someone like Jimin, who has stood beside Jungkook for over a decade, the signs were impossible to ignore. And so, When Jungkook returned to Korea, the situation unraveled. Jimin's panic was not just about the present moment, it was about everything leading up to it. He knew how much Jungkook had endured in silence. He knew the toll long flights, restless nights, and endless commitments had taken on him. And in that instant, his emotions spilled over in front of the entire world. The fandom, too, could not remain calm. Social media erupted with trending hashtags, from hashtag #GetWellSoonJungkook to hashtag #ProtectJungkook. Fans demanded answers. They wanted to know if their idol was truly okay, or if his health had been compromised in ways more serious than anyone had admitted. The panic wasn't just Jimin's. It was shared by millions who felt a deep, emotional connection to Jungkook's well-being. What makes this moment even more haunting is the way it contrasts with Jungkook's image just hours earlier. At Calvin Klein, he was the picture of perfection. Confident, stylish, unshakable. And yet, within days, or perhaps even hours, he appeared drained, fragile, and vulnerable. How could such a dramatic shift happen so quickly? Was it exhaustion? Was it illness? Or was it something more hidden? Something only the members and the closest insiders knew? The clues are scattered, and the puzzle is incomplete. But one thing is undeniable. Jimin's panic was real, raw, and unfiltered. It showed the bond between the members, a brotherhood that goes far beyond the stage. It showed that even in moments of glamour and fame, their humanity remains at the center. AS fans and media outlets search for answers. The story continues to unfold. What lies ahead for Jungkook? Will his health recover quickly? Or is this a sign that he needs to slow down, to take a step back from the relentless pace of his career? And what role will his members, especially Jimin, who has shown unwavering care, play in helping him through this fragile moment? The questions remain unanswered, the emotions remain raw, and the suspense lingers in every fan's heart. This is not just a story about a return flight from New York. This is a story about fragility behind fame, about bonds that transcend the stage, and about a moment of panic that revealed a truth too powerful to ignore. Jimin's panic and Jungkook's struggle, the untold story behind his return from New York the night of lights, the shadows behind the Calvin Klein event in New York had been hyped for weeks. Fans knew Jungkook would attend, and the global anticipation was electrifying. This was not just another brand collaboration. This was Jungkook stepping into the global fashion spotlight as one of the faces redefining modern style. For many, it was the ultimate fusion of music, culture, and fashion, all embodied in one man. Social media platforms buzzed with hashtags, live streams, and speculation about his outfit, his performance, and his impact on the world stage. When Jungkook finally appeared, the crowd erupted. Dressed in Calvin Klein's signature sleek and bold style, he was magnetic, commanding attention with every step. Cameras couldn't get enough of him, and reporters rushed to capture his words, his movements, his aura. The event was a triumph on every visible level. Yet, behind the perfection, a quieter story was unfolding. Astute fans noticed something strange in the live clips and fan-captured videos. Jungkook, while dazzling, seemed to carry an invisible weight. His eyes sparkled but occasionally dimmed when he thought the cameras weren't directly on him. His posture, usually upright and confident, slouched ever so slightly when he wasn't posing. Even more telling were the subtle moments, his hand brushing against his neck, his jaw tightening briefly, a slight pause as if he needed to catch his breath. Most attendees brushed these details aside. After all, who wouldn't feel a little tired after hours of press, bright lights, and endless interactions? But for those who knew him, or had followed him closely for years, the signs were not so easily dismissed. The whispers started almost immediately. Was Jungkook okay behind the scenes? Sources later hinted that Jungkook had been running on little to no sleep leading up to the event. His schedule had been brutal: rehearsals, travel, meetings, and the demands of preparing for BTS's ongoing projects. The Calvin Klein appearance wasn't just about showing up. It was about perfection, about embodying the brand's identity in front of the world. That kind of pressure doesn't just weigh on the mind, it drains the body. And yet, as he smiled for the cameras and walked with elegance, he carried it all silently. Jungkook has always been known for his resilience, his refusal to let weakness show, his commitment to his fans. But this night would prove that even the strongest are not immune to exhaustion.